Hi guys, Olive here. Here today to do the Book Snob tag. This tag was originally created by Tia and all the books. I will link her original video down below. I don't think anyone actually tagged me in this one, but since it's the Book Snob tag, why not just act entitled and do it anyway? This tag looks at the preferences we have about books and looks to see where, if anywhere, those preferences harden into snobbery, which I consider to be an intolerance of any other way but the way you like it. We see snobbery quite a bit in the book world. Much as we may hate it, none of us are immune. I don't consider myself a snob of any caliber, but I guess we'll see if there's any lurking underneath. From what I hear, some people think I'm a pretentious snob anyway, so let's see if they're right. Question number 1 is Adaptation Snob. Do you always read the book before you see the movie? No, I used to feel this way back when I was in high school, but I really don't have a preference anymore. Certainly if I've already read the book, then I'm going to be more interested to go see the movie, but I don't need to have read it first. But I probably should mention at this point that I'm actually not much of a movie person. It has to be something really special to inspire me to watch a movie, period, let alone go out to a theater, which is how you'll know that I was, in fact, extremely excited to go see Where'd You Go, Bernadette? Question number 2 is Format Snob. If you had to choose only one format for the rest of your life, print, electronic, or audio, which would it be? This one is so incredibly hard because I use and love all three of these formats. Yes, I have finally come around to ebooks. Probably print books because there's just nothing quite like holding a physical book in your hands. But I'm also extremely attached to ebooks and audiobooks. What's the opposite of snobbery? Because I really don't want to have to choose. This feels so unfair. Question number 3 is ship snob. Would you date or marry a non-reader? Oh, this question. Okay, well, in case you didn't know, I met my husband when I was 17 years old, and we've been together ever since, so quite a long time. Back when we first got together, when I was still in high school, I had fallen out of reading because I was doing so much for school. So at that period in time, Tony was actually more into reading than I was. He's always been really into reading and writing, which is something that I absolutely love about him. But I would be lying to you if I said that him not being a reader would have been a deal breaker for me at age 17. I was way more interested that he was into video games. But if he and I were just now meeting, no, I probably wouldn't be interested in dating him if he wasn't also a reader. It's such a huge part of my life that I can't imagine not being able to discuss it actively with my partner. And it doesn't even matter, to me anyway, if the person has the same reading preferences. Tony and I have polar opposite reading tastes, yet we both value reading in almost exactly the same way, so it works. He's primarily a sci-fi reader in case you're interested. Question number 4 is Genre Snob. If you had to ditch one genre and never read it again, which would it be? Oh god, don't tell Tony, but probably sci-fi. I swear I'm a walking contradiction because I love science, but I just can't get into sci-fi. Unless it's, of course, The Sparrow by Mary Doria Russell. I feel like I've betrayed him. Could I just allocate the entire world's supply of sci-fi to him? Marriage is about sharing and compromise, so I'm not ditching it. I'm generously giving it all to him. Is anyone buying this? Question number 5 is Uber Genre Snob. If you had to read only one genre for the rest of your life, which would it be? Finally, a question that works in my favor. I will go with nonfiction, since that's typically lumped together as one genre, although to me that's obviously as huge of a classification as just fiction. If forced to choose a subgenre of nonfiction, which I feel is only fair since nonfiction feels like a cheat answer, I'll go with memoir, which is honestly really surprising because when I first started on BookTube, I wasn't the biggest fan of memoir. It's quickly become a favorite of mine because you get to hear the most intimate, illuminating stories from people of all different backgrounds. It really scratches the itch I have to learn something new with every book I read, but you also get that human element to it, which I also really value out of a reading experience. Assuming that the memoir is done well, of course. Yeah, if I have to choose only one, then I'm definitely gonna have to go with memoir. Now, everyone quickly get to work and start writing yours so that I don't run out of reading material. Question number 6 is community snob. What genre do you think receives the most snobbery from the bookish community? I'll have to echo what everyone else has answered for this and say romance. I do see and hear from readers online who say more generally that they don't like romances in books whatsoever. So if they're reading just a normal literary fiction novel and it has a romance element, then they don't like that part of it, and they're consistent with that. But then you also see people absolutely loving romance elements to non-romance labeled books, as many of us do, but then looking down on romance as if it's not the same thing. It is the same thing. I don't get the snobbery against romance at all, mainly for that reason. And the last question, question number 7, is Snobbery Recipient. Have you ever been snubbed for something you've been reading, or for reading in general? When it comes to the second part of this question, I don't get a whole lot of snobbery about my reading from the non-readers in my life. It more inspires confusion because they don't know why I am so obsessed with it. But the aforementioned snobbery about romance books has been directed my way once or twice. Every video where I mention romance books, which isn't even that frequently since I do pick up those books so sparingly, all of those videos tend to draw way more ire than my videos normally do. And then I'll occasionally get a comment on one of my nonfiction-centric videos that says something along the lines of, finally, a booktuber who isn't going on and on about YA or romance. To which my response is normally something like, hi, I'm happy you found your way here, happy to have you, but if you stick around long enough, you're probably going to be disappointed because I read those things too. Maybe you should try it sometime. When I get comments like that, it makes me really worry that people think that I'm seeking out nonfiction, that I'm reading nonfiction because I'm trying to paint myself into some I'm a serious reader type of role, when really my nonfiction reading is as pleasure-seeking as any of my other reading is. I am a learning junkie. It doesn't mean that me or anybody else should consider me more of a serious reader because I read nonfiction books. If you take your reading seriously, you are a serious reader. But since we're on the topic of nonfiction, I did, however, get extremely judged when I was reading a particular nonfiction book on public transportation a few years back. People gave me such funny looks when I was reading Cannibalism, A Perfectly Natural History by Bill Shutt in broad daylight. I have found a way to forgive all of those snobs, though. I think they were just concerned for their lives. So that was the Book Snob tag. I hope you enjoyed it. I will be tagging a few people and I'm going to put those names down in the description box below. But if you don't see your name there and would like to do this, please consider yourself tagged. I am still tagging you. But if you have any comments or questions about anything I mentioned in this video or about anything in general, you can put that in the comment section below. But if you'd prefer to reach out to me somewhere other than YouTube, I am on a variety of different places on social media and the links to all of my profiles are in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day and I will see you in the next video. Bye.